אחמד, אלקנה, סרגי, ניר, סגי, מרק, ישראל, רפאל, ברק, סדריק, ניקולס, יואב, יובל, אלקנה, אריאל, אדר, מתן, דוד.
IDF spokesperson there, Daniel Hagari, listing the names of the soldiers who have been killed in the fighting.
They all fell on the fight for the security of Israel and for the residents of the South. In the name of the entire IDF, I want to pay the condolences for the fallen. The price of this war is high. These warriors fought with bravery. Reservists from the entire ranks of the Israeli society, from all places in the Israeli society, from all over the country, from all sectors, sacrificed their life for the security of this country and for our shared home. May their memory be a blessing. The commanders held a first investigation on the field, and this is what they've concluded. Yesterday afternoon, reserve forces acted in an area that is 600 meters from the community of Kisufim. On October the 7th, from this compound exactly, terrorists who killed and kidnapped innocents from Kibbutz Kisufim and from the nearby military base came out from this compound. After a long battle, the warriors cleared this area and then placed mines and explosives in this compound. It's a war zone, and a terror squad surprised the force with RPGs. The hit of the RPGs led to an explosion, which led to the building to collapse, and the building next to it collapsed. Most of the warriors were killed when the buildings collapsed. Another RPG hit a tank that was there to defend the compound. 2 soldiers were killed there. The tank was not able to fire first and was surprised by the RPG. Forces were called in to search and to rescue all of the soldiers that were killed in this incident. The Chief of Staff was today on the field and met the commanders while they were still holding their mission. They told them all the details about this incident, and the Chief of Staff is now asking to investigate all of the aspects of this incident to prevent further similar events. The soldiers on the ground are continuing with their mission and understanding the responsibility to change the security situation on the ground next to our communities. Our forces continue with a ground offensive on the western part of Khan Yunis, one of the main areas of action for Hamas. It's a difficult area, densely populated area. A lot of Hamas terrorists are hiding in the area, including in sensitive locations, trying to surprise our forces. Our soldiers are fighting with bravery, with support of intelligence and air support. We have been able to destroy a tunnel infrastructure more than 1.5 kilometers long. We killed in the last day more than 100 terrorists in western Khan Yunis. We continue fighting all over the Gaza Strip, north, center, and south. We deepen our achievements and continue to act to create the conditions for the return of our hostages all the time. On the northern border, throughout the day, we saw similar launches towards Israeli territory. Most were intercepted, but one hit an area in one of the bases. That area was reconstructed within hours, and there was no damage for the abilities of that base. Our jets attacked within Lebanon and destroyed a sensitive compound used by Hezbollah and also by Iranian forces. We will continue to systematically hit the Hezbollah terror squads and the abilities of Hezbollah, which is trying to hide in the area of southern Lebanon, including within civilian areas. We are ready at the area, and we continue to strengthen our readiness at all the time. We will do whatever necessary on the northern front so that the residents could go back to their homes in security and safety. Question about the incident in Khan Yunis. Wasn't it better to first act with the Air Force in order to prevent this tragedy? And second question, we now understand that at the month of February, some residents of the south are meant to go back home. After this incident, shouldn't it be perhaps delayed? We're working with various systems, various operations, with ground forces, with Air Force, with engineering corps for these kind of operations. All the means are meant to be operated. In this specific incident, we chose to work with ground forces to destroy this area. Regarding the residents and the terror squad that is 600 meters from the wall, yes, there are a few squads still with ammunition, and there are IDF forces fighting in the north, in the center, and in the south to continue and hit these squads, deepen our achievements, and create the conditions for the residents to come back home. And it's important to understand, terror squads of lone wolf terror squads could perhaps continue, and will continue. We will need to keep working to deepen our achievement. Another question regarding the fact that buildings were hit from the ground and not from the air. And again, on January 8th, in a similar incident, soldiers were killed from Israeli explosives. Is there any connection between the two incidents? And was the first incident investigated enough? Every incident is difficult. As soon as these such incidents happen, we stop the forces on the ground and we hold an investigation with the highest ranks. The chief of staff, the head of the Southern Command were in the ground already, and already this evening they will present some lessons to the forces on the ground. This is a different a different scenario than the one you spoke about 2 weeks ago. Yes, some aspects are similar, but the conclusions here and the means deployed here are different. The investigation could perhaps find some kind of connection between the two incidents, especially when it comes to the presence of our forces when the explosives are deployed. This time we were working on a building, not a tunnel, and we will have to check how our defense forces were deployed in the area. We will investigate that, and already there are some initial conclusions. Following these incidents and the wave of rumors throughout the country, are you perhaps thinking of a change in the concept of how you present and tell the families about their loved ones? We have one very important commitment, and it is to the families, because a family, in many times in this incident, a family gets a knock on the door with the most terrible news there could be. And we in the IDF need to make sure that the family gets the news from us, not someone who hears some rumor. It's terrible. We're doing it in the fastest way possible. All of our forces dedicated to that were in the homes very early in the morning to tell 21 families about the worst thing that could have happened. And I was here in the morning giving a statement, and I'm asking all the public not to carry out rumors, to let us carry out the statements, because at the end there's a family receiving a terrible knock on the door. We need to meet the family first and hug them and not anyone else. Why were 19 soldiers in the buildings inside, and in the north fire continues? When will the IDF be able to tell the residents of the north that they can go back home? I was asked a few questions about the action from the air. So I said, sometimes we're acting from the air, sometimes from the ground. In this incident, the forces combed the area, cleared the buildings from terrorists. There was one company inside those two buildings, and this will be what we will investigate. The timing and the people, the amount of people inside the buildings. These are the people that were the casualties, and we will have to investigate that with the forces on the ground. We carried out tens of similar actions in this war, more than tens, and we will continue to do so because there's no other way. We have to act on the ground everywhere in the Gaza Strip, from the ground, from the air, and engineering abilities with tunnels that there are no way to destroy unless you're on the ground. Regarding the residents of the north, we need to create the security conditions that will allow the residents to go back home. We're working for that around the clock, fighting on the ground all the time, making sure that Hamas will never be able to carry out an October 7th attack. Will we meet another terrorist, another RPG, another single rocket? Yes, we have to tell the people, yes, there might be similar incidents, and as time goes by, we will need to carry out more such strikes.